Hey guys, less is more, back with another video, and today you're going to take a look at the small blind versus button 3-bet pot spot. These are sims run by Zenith Poker. Go check out that site if you have not already. I'm a coach for Zenith and fully endorse the work they do. It's in my opinion, the best in the business. I've been very outspoken about this, so I'm not gonna waste any more time, any more of my breath on this. If you want to get good at poker, all you need is Zenith. So that's all I have to say on that. Yeah, and these sims are just really state of the art. So get the early access from Zenith, and you can download these sims for yourself. So today we'll just be doing a lot of play versus the solution. I've done, some flop strategy breakdown videos in the past in the small blind versus button spot. So today I just want to go through the play versus the solution and try to take a look at some turn and river spots. So yeah, let's hop right into it. So click this option so we can switch positions between small blind versus button. We can take a look at the range real quick. So the continuing range is not all at 100% frequency, just because some of these hands at partial frequencies are flats in the small blind. I did a video on playing post flop after you flat the small blind. Go check that out if you haven't already. So yeah, let's hop into it. Oh, before we do that, here's the flatting range. Just like a bunch of the suited broadways, ace queen off, king queen off, ace jack off. These middling pairs at a decent frequency, some suited connectors, ace 5, ace 4, ace 3, that sort of stuff. All right, we're in position for the first hand. 6-5 on king 7 deuce versus the half pot bet. So this is a double backdoor hand, like versus a quarter pot bet. You could float this, but without 2 overs to the middle card, I think we just fold this. Yeah. So 6-5 is almost a pure fold. You can see 9-8 is starting to call more versus the half pot. Versus like a quarter pot size, yeah, you can start to call these a bit more. Yeah, and the 9-8, the 2 overs to the middle card, definitely calling those. Okay. So ace 10 on ace 7-2. So on this board, you can see the overall strategy in the top left. So yeah, we can talk about this for a second. So obviously ace high boards are going to be better for the out of position player. But we're going to have a lot of marginal ace-x on this board and middling pocket pairs that can still bet and get plenty of value from worse hands, but don't want to isolate imposition's range to just ace-x. You'll see a lot of, like on ace-high boards and 3-bet pots, especially out of the small blind, you'll see a bunch of 10% pot betting. So you see it's splitting between like a small bet, like 10 and 25%, and then it splits into a bigger range, into a bigger size, like 3/4 in pot, and that's just the ace-king range basically, because imposition doesn't have any ace-king. So you're gonna, put those nutted, like ace-king is a nutted hand on this board that just wants to pile. So you're gonna mix this hand into a big size, namely the 3/4 in pot size. On this board, I use a 10%, quarter, and pot size. So feel free to adjust that however you'd like. You can just use a quarter. I'd say if you wanted to simplify it, I'd just use a quarter and a pot size would be fine. And then the bluffs for the pot size are like the queen high. Yeah, some queen high, basically double backdoor hands. yeah, like the 9/8's getting mixed into the pot size a tad. Like some of the king queen, I think that's the more intuitive one, is the king queen with the spade. So on this board, we're gonna mix this hand into the small size. And you can just randomize which one you put it in. We rolled low, so we'll just put it in the small size. And he folds king 10 to the 10% pot bet. Queen 7-3, half pot bet. Okay, I was just gonna fold this, but it looks like this is a call. Okay. Okay, so looks like fours with the heart is starting to fold. Okay. Fours with the heart just can't bluff as many runouts, really. Because when you have the fours, you're going to be able to leverage your blockers on a lot of runouts blocking straights. So having suit blockers to flushes is going to be pretty good. Of course, you'll check down and win a good bit too. So looks like we call this one king, and now queen a2. So on these queen high and jack high boards, you're going to be sizing up. It looks like on this board, on this two-tone board, we're going to be splitting into a quarter pot and a 3/4 pot, so like a small and a big size. I'm just using currently a single half pot size. Let's take a look. Maybe that's the rainbow board strategy. Yeah, so it looks like the single half pot bet is the, you know, queen high rag rainbow board, and then on the two-tone board, it looks like you split. Maybe on queen 6-2, it'll probably do the splitting thing. Yeah, so yeah, starting to size down on these two-tone boards, looks like. Okay, interesting. Six-5 on queen a2. We'll put this one into the. Well, I think like intuitively this makes more sense in the big size for me. So if let's see. So we block pocket sixes and pocket fives. And so if you put in a big bet, they're going to fold those hands. If you put in a small one, they're gonna call. Well, so maybe it works better in the small size. Yeah, we can just go for the small size. Let's take a look at this. Okay, yeah, it's going into the small size mostly. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be betting like 6-5 of hearts, 6-5 of clubs. And when you bet quarter pot, you're gonna get called by some king high and gut shots. So like when you bet small, like if you bet 3/4, those high card hands aren't calling. You know, at least without a gut shot. But when you bet small and get called, you can still hit a pair and win against like some king high and queen high, king high and jack high. Oh, but sorry, this is a queen high board, so ace high is going to be calling as well, versus the quarter pot bet. So you can still win against the ace high when you hit a pair. 9 turn. So we don't have a gut shot to any strong hand. Yeah, this is just like the nut low straight draw, so I'm not sure. And we block a decent number of floats with this hand. I think we want to get this one up. Let's take a look. Yeah, so we're just giving this one up and just barreling with the 6-5 of spades. But note, you block the pocket sixes and pocket fives, that folds to a bet. Like if you half pot, sixes and fives make up a big portion of their folding range. So like even 6-5 of spades is not that favorable. Seven, six, backdoor flush draw versus the quarter pot bet. Definitely going to be calling this. This turn, just going to check this one back. We have showdown value against king high and jack high. And I think, yeah, we just check this one back. Yeah. The turn, looks like we're actually mostly betting this, which kind of surprises me. Looks like we're betting most of our 7-6. Okay, interesting. I mean, it's all mixed, so it's not like a huge mistake, but yeah, and you're betting for half pot. So like in a lot of lines, you'll see when the three better checks, you'll see like in position use a small size. That's usually on the flop. Let's see, let's take a look at it better. Queen 6-2. If out of position checks, and position is just using like a block size at a decently high frequency. But once you get to the turn, let's see. Yeah, you're starting to size up. Just because like the range you get to with the turn after calling on the flop is going to be much stronger, and there's not so much equity to deny. Like your betting strategy isn't as centered around equity denial, whereas like on the flop, you still have two streets to play, and the out of position player should have quite a wide array of hands. So like if you have you know, pocket sevens on queen 6-2, and you bet and get ace jack to fold, that's it's pretty good. So yeah, out of position is just going to be check folding a lot of their garbage. So and then they're just going to have a bunch of easy continues with a lot of this king high stuff. Okay. Ace queen 6, quarter pot, we will call. Ace, trips. Yeah, so on this turn, both players are going to have a good amount of trips. See, the out of position strategy on this turn, it's going to be a wide array, just because of how many different strength hands out of position is going to have. Also because in position's also going to have a lot of suited ace X that turns trips. Yeah, so no incentive to put in like massive bets unless, you know, out of position just has the nuts with, you know, ace king or pocket sixes or whatever. And then yeah, notice the frequency at which ace queen is checking, because of ace if you check, in position is going to check back queen jack, queen 10, king queen. So when you have ace queen, you block their checkbacks. So this is just a good hand to mix into the turn check line. Calling trips here. Check, and now we have a decision. So with ace 5, it's going to be hard to get called by much better, or much worse, I mean. So if we look at the out of position range on the turn, they're going to bet some king X, some pocket kings, you know, like the ace 4, ace 3, but we lose the ace 3 on the river here, so it's going to be getting kind of thin. I think I'm just going to check this back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so ace 5 is just a pure check back. Jack 6-2. Just going to be sizing up. Like I said earlier on these queen high and jack high boards, we're going to be sizing up quite a bit, especially on the rainbow boards. I just used 1/2 pot size on this board, but it looks like you can even go as big as 3/4. Yeah, I'll probably just size up my single size strategy on this board just to like a 2/3 size or so. That should be more than sufficient. And just I will not be range betting this. I think it makes a lot of sense to have a checking range on this board. You know, just with these marginal ace highs, and then you can just mix in checks with you know, pocket jacks and sixes. I think those make a lot of sense as a check. See, check, and then in position again is betting for small size. So we'll just RNG this, and we roll for bet. Check here, or sorry, a jack on the turn. Blocking Jack 10 is pretty good. Unblocking, so like with the 10, we unblock a lot of the pairs that will fold to a bet. So I think I like this as a bet, blocking Jack 10 suited. Okay. Yeah, so on the rainbow turn, we're not too concerned about unblocking flush draws that fold on the river, especially when we have ace high. But I think blocking Jack 10 suited is just good enough to go for it here. Yeah, so we block ace Jack suited and Jack 10 suited. Forgot to mention that, but yeah, I just think this makes for a really good barrel. Okay, so it looks like that's a pretty big mistake, actually. Usinov is a pure check. That's interesting. So if out of position jams, in position is calling. Pocket 10s, Jack 10 suited, Ace Jack suited. Yeah, that is odd because let's look at the combos. So yeah, in position's gonna have 100% of the ace jack suited, all the 10-10 that they got here with after pre-flop. I guess just blocking some of the ace high folds isn't fantastic. Imposition does get here with a lot of this, actually, which I was not anticipating. Okay, so that would make sense. Yeah, so it looks like the ace 10 off. It's pretty interesting. Notice it's jamming nines for value. So don't be afraid to go for it here. If you jam you'll definitely get called by plenty of worse hands, you know, 9s, 7s, 6s, 5s, 3s, and some ace queen. Yeah, so this is sort of an interesting hand. So it's checking most of the ace 10 off and going for it with the ace 10 suited. So when you have ace 10 off, notice when out of position jams, in position is pure folding ace 10. So if you look at the number of combos in position gets here with, they're getting here with pretty much all of the ace 10 of clubs, diamonds, and spades, holding most of the heart combos on the flop, I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. So bet call, and so like in position gets here with a lot of the ace 10. So when you have ace 10 off, let's say you have like ace of clubs, 10 of spades, you block ace 10 of clubs and ace 10 of spades that in position would fold, whereas if you just have ace 10 of spades, you only block ace 10 of spades that folds. So you only block, when you have ace 10 suited, you only block one combo of ace 10 suited that in position would fold, whereas if you have the offsuit variety, you block two combos that would fold. So just a small thing, but it can make a big difference in your expectation. Like, it's quite a big mistake to jam this hand. So this is something I need to be thinking about on the river, out of position in the spot. Like just because you block, you know, Jack X doesn't mean you should just jam these hands. Yeah, like these King 10 off hands function much better. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, so definitely King 10 suited is much better. Yeah. So King 10 blocks pocket 10s that would call, and King 10 of spades and diamonds block Jack 10 suited and unblock a lot of the ace high folds. It's pretty good. Okay. So looks like we're giving this one up, and we check fold. Ace queen, so out of position pots, should have a narrow potting range on this board, given out of position has all the ace queen, ace king. Okay. So bet this big. You can see in position is going to be putting it in with a lot of their strong hands. This one I think we just call, given we have all of their draws just drawing dead. Yeah. Okay, so on the turn, yeah. So ace queens, just your call, and then your ace jack, you're just putting it in. You should really be considering this when out of position. You know, that's quite a big size after the pot on the flop. You can just, you know, put the rest of the money in with your top pair yourself. But you should be tight overall, especially versus a pot bet on the flop. I mean, your continues have to be pretty strong. So with ace jack, yeah, you can just put the money in yourself. But that looks like that's sort of the cutoff. Ace 10, you know, becomes indifferent. And then the queen unblocking the ace, because like if you jam for, what is it, 30 big blinds more, they just have to call off all their ace X. So unblocking the ace with the queen jack, you can just put the money in yourself on the turn. King 7-2, this is just a half pot range bet. these king high boards are going to be quite excellent for the out of position player. Ace 10, ace queen 6. Out of position will be splitting their range quite a bit on this board on the flop. I'm going to be calling a 3/4 pot bet. And now we have a decision with the ace 10. So a lot of the bluffs that would follow through on the river are going to be combos that don't contain a club because they want to unblock our club folds. But yeah, this is going to be very close to indifferent. But I think there's not like the issue is out of position won't have loads of offsuit broadways that could do this. Also, out of position shouldn't have much. Yeah, so they shouldn't have much to pair, like, you know, 6-5 or 5-4. That probably wouldn't take this line much at all. Pocket sixes would. Yeah, we block a lot of the ace queen. I'm just gonna call. I'm just gonna guess here. I'm just gonna RNG this one. RNG at 48. It's high enough for a call. Yeah. So it does have the sixes. So it's definitely a hand you'd want to block with a call. So out of position, the bluff selection. So yeah, so remember I mentioned Jack 10 without a, like Jack 10 of non-club variety is going to be following through here. And then like all the King 10 and King Jack that barrels on the turn is going to have a diamond, or a club, I mean. So like when they get to the river, they block a lot of our club draw folds, so they're just going to pure give up. Yeah, same thing with the 10-9, 10-8 of clubs. Let's get here at a pretty high frequency. Same thing with King 7. Those are just going to give up. You see the King Jack's just going for it without the clubs. So like having Ace 10 of hearts isn't great, considering you block Jack 10 of hearts. But it looks like let's see. So Jack 10 and King Jack, they're about the same frequency. The heart combos anyway. So they look like about, like Ace Jack and Ace 10 look to be about the same strength of a bluff catcher, given that they block the same number of bluffs. Yeah, so they're both indifferent. Well, it looks like Ace Jack of hearts and Ace Jack of spades are calling. And the Ace 10 you start to fold much more. Aces on Queen 8-2. With the spade, I think, so like how you play with the flush draw blocker changes at different SPRs. So I haven't brushed up on this in a second, but I think at the lower SPRs, you tend to you know, do more checking, especially out of position. Let's check that out. Yeah, so it does. You do mix in some more checks and small bets with the flush draw blocker. Whereas like at higher SPRs, you would just do more betting. Considering if you hit a set, the flush isn't going to get there, and you can put loads of big blinds in at higher SPRs. Whereas at the stack depth, being able to hit a set and stack your opponent isn't as much of a consideration as trying to unblock their continues. Because when you have aces, like you just want to get the money in, so that's your concern. And Imposition has so many suited ace-x combos that they're gonna have a lot of flush draws. So unblocking continues with the aces is pretty nice, because like if you check and they bet, you can just check raise the aces with the flush draw blocker, and you know, pretty confidently just get the money. So we'll check this one, you know, for the video. And now we will just raise. Notice there's so like even at this SPR, you know, we have like 3/4 of a pot size bet left. We're still not jamming much. Like we're jamming a little bit with our ace queen just because it's like a vulnerable top pair, but there's going to be, even at these low SPRs, there's going to be very little jamming on the turn, especially on a dry board like this. I'm honestly surprised it's jamming ace queen at all. But yeah, you can just go for like a half pot bet here, and then, you know, leave like it's just like a 20% pot bet or something on the river, like a ridiculously small. You'll be checking aces, so you'll have aces in a trap line here, which is pretty funny, just because like when you check, they're just gonna bet the queen X for you, and then they're going to bluff some of the flush draws. So something to consider. Let's see, in this line, so we'll check this hand at a small frequency, but here we're just gonna money in. $10-9. We're gonna check this one back. You know, backdoor. Check back again, try to hit a pair. I mean, we have no draw to anything except a pair, so now on the river. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I think we just, I don't know, we block a lot of folds in this hand, which sucks. I'm just gonna get this up. Let's see what 10-9 is doing here. Yeah, 10-9 of hearts is pure check. Like if we see if we like pot it, we block Jack 9, 10-9, 10-8, 10-9. 10s, 9s, 8s. So my main consideration was 10s and 9s, and 9-8. I didn't even consider the 10-8. Yeah, those are all hands that fold. Even the King 9, Queen 9, just blocking a lot of that middling folding region. So it's not a great hand to bluff the river. On the turn, the same thing goes. It's just at least if you hit a pair, you'll be good a lot. So you'd rather just not get check raised on the turn and just see a river and try to hit a pair and get a showdown. Ace King 7, high frequency bet board. This is a hand towards the top of a range. I think I'll mix this into the big size. Threes, you know, spade especially, we're just gonna pull this. Eights on Queen 7-3. We can definitely mix this, but we rolled a check, so we're gonna check. Jack turn, just gonna continue checking this. Face a big bet, just gonna fold. Yeah, it's just a pure fold. 8s on the turn. Pretty much pure check. But yeah, we're just going to be mixing all of our pocket pairs here pretty much. King 9, no backdoor. Ten 9 on ace queen 6. Into the, we'll roll it. We'll put this into the small size. Blocking 10s and 9s is pretty good because like if you quarter pot it, well, they're gonna pure call 10s. It looks like they're gonna be folding 9s, so some. Pretty high up in our range here. The out of position player is going to have a lot of whiffed hands on this board, so we can bet this at a decent frequency. We roll at 90, so we're gonna bet this one. See, 9s is betting. Like, notice 9s is betting at a higher frequency than 10s. It's just 9s is a more vulnerable pair. 9s still has two. Like even ace 10 has 2 overcards to pocket 9, so. Interesting. I think this is just too thin, so I think we're gonna check this one back. Yep, 9s and 8s are just to check back. Yep, and notice, so Queen Jack is just jamming the river with top pair weak kicker. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to go for those thin value bets. Especially like Queen Jack, just like unblocking Ace King. If you jam, they're gonna have to call some Ace King, and or Jack X, like Jack 9, and then pocket 10 or pocket 9s. Yeah. So. Ace King 9. Block this. So when you have a board in which you split a lot of your range, like Ace King 9, like if you use the 10% size, for example, you're going to be continuing with the small bet on the turn as well. You'll be polarizing the small portion of your range that you put into the small portion of your nutted range that you put into the small size on the flop, and you'll start to split this on the turn, but most of your range is going to either check or go into the small bet once more. But the way you construct your range on the flop, like, you should deliberately have hands in each range that benefit from each size. Like, if you have a hand like King 10 on the flop, this functions pretty well as a 10% pot bet, and so like on the turn, you're going to be wanting to do the same thing with those classes of hands, you know, like the King Queen, King Jack, King 10. You know, even like pocket kings functions pretty well as a 10% pot bet, because like if you bet, you're going to get raised by ace X that you unblock, and you block their you block imposition flats. So kings functions really well as a 10% pot c bet on the turn here. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, my original point was, if you split your size, you're going to be sort of going with that pattern on the turn. Like, if we size up on the flop, notice there's not any like down betting on this same turn here. We're just polarizing our range on the turn. Whereas if we use the 10% pot bet, most of our range is going into a small size of some sort, namely the 10% quarter pot. And you'll have a small, pot bet, like the ace king and such. So yeah. So we're mostly going to check this hand. I'm just gonna fold this. Okay, so Ace King 9. We have Jack 9. We have backdoor straight draw facing. This is sort of a gross spot. I think I'm just gonna fold this. Let's see. What does it think about folding 9x? Yeah. Okay, well that's good. I was honestly not sure. Because like Jack 9 would be a better holding here than pocket 10s. Just because you have a 5 out draw as if you're behind, as opposed to a 2 out draw with pocket 10s. It says 10s has more equity, I guess. I mean, that would make sense given that the big bet bluffing range is going to be a lot of like queen jack, queen 10. So like if there's a jack on the turn, you'll turn 2 pair and then get cooler by queen 10. Because like these broadways are going to be used as bluffs as at a pretty high frequency. Yeah, like queen 10 is bluffing at a very high frequency. It's probably the highest frequency bluff for that size. So yeah, that makes sense. King 7-2, half pot range bets. Fold. We do block a lot of backdoor hands that float the flop. Makes a decent give up. Check, check. Or I'd probably just give it up. So on the turn, the Jack 10 of clubs. Yeah, so the Jack 10 of clubs, Jack 10 of diamonds are going to be giving up, since like on the flush draw turn, we're going to be able to bluff with the flush draws, so like the Jack 10 of spades. Then the Jack 10 of hearts unblocks all of the double backdoor floats, like the Queen Jack of spades, Queen Jack of diamonds, those sort of hands. Jack 10 of hearts unblocks those hands, whereas Jack 10 of clubs and diamonds don't have a flush draw, and they block a lot of the folding range for imposition that floated the flop. So those are just going to give up, and then a lot of those, I think, just give up river. Yeah. So you can just give up with those. Yeah, so I think I'm going to call that a day. If you guys have any questions about any of these spots, please let me know, and I will see you guys next time.